What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, Joe with Kirabug again, back with another Dragon Ball Super review talk. I don't even know what to call these anymore, because we don't really review it, we just kind of watch. Discussion! That's the best way to talk about it. That's why we usually call these talks. So, a lot kind of gets answered in here, and a lot still doesn't get answered.
More questions asked, actually.
More questions pop up than anything. First things first, number one, I still don't like the stupid intros. I mean, granted, they're probably doing that for, like, the live airing, but as far as why they decided to include it on the actual simulcast, it just, I mean, I haven't really keeping up with the leaks as much as I used to. So, I mean, I know that she transforms, Kefla, when they're fighting. But I don't want to jump in the middle of the episode where I know it's going to that direction. Like, I'd rather just be kind of surprised. Two, I like the fact that they kind of focus on multiple fights here. We saw the Namekians, we saw the, I almost said Goku, Toppo and Vegeta. We also saw Potara popping up a lot, which we'll talk about in a couple seconds. And we saw 17 and 18, which again, where the hell have they been in the past like 20-something minutes? They're back. So that's the one thing I like the most about this episode. As far as everything else, it was pretty solid. It was a good episode. I was actually kind of like iffy going into it because I'm like, okay, the episode is called Super Saiyan Blue Defeated. And Toei is notorious for their clickbaity titles where it's like you think something's going to happen, but it doesn't really happen that way. Super Saiyan Blue got defeated. He still got knocked out.
Technically.
Yeah. But we'll get to that later. So let's kind of go back in the beginning of the episode. So Potara has been ruled legal. Why? Because Zeno's a kid. At this point, I feel like because he's a kid, that you can stretch the rules as much as you go. If you do something cool, both the Omnikins will be okay with it.
If he likes it, it's okay.
Well, let me try it again. Had a stroke. The good thing about that, the good thing about that is it now opens the field for a lot more that can happen. They allow Potara, and the first thing you see is Beerus takes out Supreme Kais and just says, "Hey, let's give this to our team." To which is kind of iffy because they did say that if they do that, they will lose basically a fighter because two fighters becomes one. And it's all about having numbers in the end. So.
And how long does a Potara last?
I don't really know anymore. It's supposed to be forever, but that was actually like basically retconned, or I guess explained better in the Trunks arc.
Regardless, we only have 19 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think they said in the Trunks arc it's an hour if you're not a Kai. So. Oh,
I see. Okay.
So it might be an hour.
So you would lose one fighter then, because 19 minutes would go by and you'd still be fused.
Yeah, but then again, we also watched Super Saiyan Blue Vegetto lose the power in like 30 seconds, so it's all over the place. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Universe was a 4. The robots decided they can't do it for obvious reasons, which I still believe.
They hinted at.
Sort of.
A little bit.
They sort of hinted about it.
Because they were like, we won't need it for, what, obvious reasons or something?
Yeah, well, the reason why is because they are robots. They can't put the earrings on. But however, like I said, if you look at the different parts of the robots remaining in the Universe 2, or Universe, I keep saying 2, Universe 4 fighters, it's arms, legs, legs, and a head. And I feel like they can fuse together. It's Japan, robot culture. We'll see that at some point.
They sort of had a smile on their face, too, so.
Then we saw Universe 2 actually throw their earrings down, which I thought they were about to fuse, but they're idiots, and they took too long, and actually Kefla decided to destroy them when she kind of like ran into them. So
knocked him over like bowling pins.
Yeah. Now it's very, very possible that we could see a Potara Vegetto at some point in this arc. It's a discussion that's been kind of talked about a lot in the last couple weeks, especially after Ultra Instinct was revealed for Goku. Everybody wants it. Like, it's ultimate fan service, demand, wish, whatever you want to call it. Whether or not it's going to happen, I don't really know. I feel like knowing Goku and Vegeta, they're probably going to crush the earrings, just like they did in the Buu arc. True Saiyans fight alone. And even in the recent interview with Toriyama and Toyotaro, it was revealed that the whole Vegetto thing wasn't Toriyama's idea. He was all about, like, oh, Saiyans don't do it anymore. But for fan service, Toei added it in. So it could happen again in fan servicey way, just to bring back Vegetto, but at the same time, I feel like he won't do anything similar to how he didn't do anything in the Merge Zamasu arc, other than just be there to look cool. So, what do you guys think? Discuss it down below. Now, the main thing is the fight between Kefla, or Kefla, however you pronounce it. I think it's supposed to be Kefla, but they spelled Kefla in the English version, which apparently is wrong. It's supposed to be K-A-F-L-A, regardless of how you spell it or say it. The question came around is, what's her power? Now, in her base form, she was actually outing Goku like it was nothing. Although, 2 occasions! What did Champa say?
What? I don't know.
Stamina! Stamina! Twice! This man said stamina is low. He said, first he said that his stamina is low, that he has actually a lot of faith in Kefla actually taking him down. The second time was when it was brought up that Jiren actually has completely drained Goku. Again, if you're wondering why Kefla can actually kill with Goku at this point, that's why. It's not really, doesn't have to be explained. It's basic. I mean, he fought Jiren 4 minutes ago, literally. So he's not completely, you know, ready to fight again. So when he went blue, the first thing I noticed is, and I don't know if this is just my breakdown of it, the first thing I noticed is it was a very much one-sided fight. Now, Kefla technically wasn't like going all out yet, because apparently she's going to go even more out in the next episode. But based on how she was fighting against Goku, Goku was controlling the field the entire time. They did point out a lot that Goku was draining himself because of the Kaioken Blue, which she didn't have any stamina to, you know, as is.
I was surprised he was even able to achieve that form at all.
Yeah, you pointed out, it's like, how is he, where is this coming from? Like,
I know.
This man literally is at 0 right now. And he's somehow still tapping into his power. I mean, that's the beauty of Goku. He breaks his limits every single time. He's like the Superman of anime. He just, there's a limit, he breaks through it, which is why there's always a Superman versus Goku debate. So I'm not gonna explain or try to understand how he's tapping into Kaioken Blue, or Blue in general.
Honestly, we just don't know.
We don't know yet. Which we'll get to in a second, because you pointed out something good about Ultra Instinct. But Kefla, you could tell she's like on a similar level, which now leads me to believe, or I can confirm it now with my chest out, that if Kefla fought against a well-rested Goku, it would be really much a one-sided fight for Goku. Because if this man has no stamina and he's basically knocking her around left and right, there's no way in hell that fused Kefla actually has a chance. So that's probably why they did it the way they did it. Now, the interesting part is, and I talked about this last week, Ultra Instinct was brought out. Because apparently she actually ended up sucker punching him in a way. She threw out her blast. And again, this is the beauty of Kefla, which we saw on Khalifa's side when she fought against him last week. Khalifa and Kefla, they tend to like adjust to their environment really, really well. She's a very, very talented fighter. Adapts left and right. And she used that to her advantage when she basically trapped Goku into firing a Kamehameha so she can counter him and basically knock him out. And even Beerus said, like, look, Goku's next attack, this is it. This is the one shot. And basically, you probably assume that he put all his energy to one shot. So when he fired and missed, he was knocked out when she popped up behind him and kicked him in the face. That's when the beauty happened. Ultra Instinct was over.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
what?
I talked about this last week. I was like, I guarantee you she's going to beat the Ultra Instinct out of him. Which again, now, let's go back to the original question. What the hell is Ultra Instinct? Once again, I think Orochi said it. It's a form, so we can stop the debate whether or not it's a technique or form. Form is what they're going with. I mean, it might be a technique, but the overall ability that Goku uses, it's a form. It's transformation. It's Dragon Ball. It's all about transformation. It's been like that for forever. Even since the Dragon Ball days when he transformed into a Great Ape.
Right.
It's a form. As far as how he's tapping into it or where the power source comes from, I have literally no idea. I mean, you can argue that he doesn't really need power because all he's really doing is he's basically reacting. Instinctually, he reacts and then kind of like uses your own force against you. So it doesn't really require that much power. Your theory was...
That's a good point, yeah.
Your theory throughout was...
Yes, I was thinking that, okay, where is he getting this power from, for one? And then I thought, like, okay, before Ultra Instinct, I don't know how he got that power. But what if Ultra Instinct is just, like, tapping into a connection with, like, a universal energy? So maybe he's not actually getting the energy from his own energy. Maybe he's actually tapping into, like, a universal energy.
In other words, like the Spirit Bomb.
Sort of like that, because everything is energy.
Everything, yeah.
In the universe. Everything is energy. So maybe he's tapping into like this limitless energy of the universe, and maybe Ultra Instinct is kind of like maybe the what do you call like how he keeps it. Maybe he doesn't run out of stamina. Maybe he just needs to keep that connection, which is difficult for some reason. Yeah. He hasn't mastered it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big mystery. Like, I like to think that basically just, when you're near death, it's like, the joke that came out when it happened originally is this man was too angry to die. And he kind of like busted out around it and figured out a way to not die, and that's when the power came out.
There's just so much going on that is not said and that we don't know when they actually transform and when they learn new techniques. There's so much left unsaid.
And they'll probably never be said too, knowing Dragon Ball.
Exactly, so you just kind of have to infer, like, how did he reach this form? Maybe he somehow, like, tapped into a connection with the universe. I don't know.
We know he's been trained to do this for a long time. It's the one thing that Whis is trying to bring out of Vegeta and Goku, which, again, leads me to believe that Vegeta will get at some point as well. It's there. It's just hard to reach. It's like you have to figure out a way to break out of your shell, as we said word for word. And once you break out of the shell, you have the access to the ability. But it is pointed out. I mean, we saw that when he busted out the Ultra Instinct ability, he did go into the form immediately. So there is some way of like manipulating our energy around you or within you to basically move with that speed. So I don't know. Like it's kind of like I'm trying to basically make an anime logical, and that's never going to be the case.
Well, I mean, like, how does he get that energy, right? The one thing that we actually do know is that he is tapped out.
Yeah, completely tapped out.
How does he do it?
Several times.
Exactly.
And the other question is, if round 2 actually happens against Jiren, he's tapped out. Like, where's the power going to come from? So, like, I feel like...
So it's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, that's why it's, like, it kind of makes sense. Because, like, the aura he kind of has around it makes me think of the Spirit Bomb. And also reminds me of Rage Trunks. Because he had the mix of the blue, which is basically... It was Genki. It was healthy energy. That's what made Rage Trunks so powerful. I explained it in a video a long time ago. But at the same time, it also wouldn't make that much sense. Because it's, like, to use a Spirit Bomb, you have to kind of, like, accept energy. You can't just, like, sap it. Whereas with the Trunks situation, people kind of indirectly gave him energy since he was the one hope of the future timeline. People like were rooting for him. No one's really rooting for Goku outside of like people watching, and it's really just Universe 7. And Universe 7 is also kind of busy fighting themselves. Vegeta and Piccolo, Goku and Piccolo, Gohan and Piccolo versus the Namekians, Vegeta versus Toppo, yada yada yada. So he's somehow tapping into this mysterious power, and it's fueling him when he's tapped out. And I don't know yet. Hopefully we'll get like better insight. I hope that when this arc finishes, Toriyama sits down and says, all right, this is what happened, but I doubt he's going to do it. But next week, it's going to be pretty much one-sided. Apparently Kefla, even though she was mentioned to be at her limits, is going to go even further beyond, not like in a transformation-wise.
Not surprising to me, to be honest.
I mean, it's Dragon Ball. The thing that they're pulling up with Kefla really, really well is she's a Saiyan. Like, the thing that we saw with Goku and Gohan and Vegeta and all the other Saiyans so far from the Dragon Ball series all the way to this point, they're pulling out really, really well. They're fighting, and like you can see that the passion in their eyes, how she's going back and forth between Goku, everybody sees it. And because she's tapping into her power like that, she's actually getting, she's growing stronger than she ever was before. So it doesn't surprise that next week she's going to get even stronger. However, compared to how she fought against Super Saiyan Blue this episode, she has no chance. And she's probably going to get knocked out next week, and then we're going to go towards, I guess, a potential fight with Jiren. Probably not this soon, because again, he's tapped out. Even if he busts out the Ultra Instinct, I feel like he can't do that much against Jiren. So something else might have to happen. And I think maybe potentially fusion. So in the comment section below, the one thing I want to talk to you guys about is the possibility of fusion's return, number one. 2, would you guys want to see someone else fuse as opposed to Goku and Vegeta? Like Piccolo, Gohan, 17 and 18, whoever else. Discuss it. Also come with some funny names as well. And as always, if you enjoyed the talk this week, 1 thumbs up equals 1 energy. Plus 1 energy, plus many energy. You can fuel the Ultra Instinct.
Energy.
Fuel the Ultra Instinct energy of this video. But thumbs in and up. Other than that, I think we covered everything. I know Quitella, if you have half a time, I'm sorry. Quitella also said they don't need to use fusion. But it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
So anyways, and then we talk about all that stuff in the comment section below. I'll just see you down there to discuss what happened in 115. Any other theories, more than welcome to share them down below. By the way, don't be dicks to each other. As always, I love to see everyone's opinions. If you don't agree, just learn to disagree with each other. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode, review, talk, whatever discussion. We'll see you guys next week, 116, where Kefla finally goes down against Goku. Because let's be real, she stands no chance. If she stands a chance against the Ultra Instinct, then we could probably rage and got a pitchforks and torches. But right now, there's just no way because just the way the movement is done. He's tapped out, but I feel like he'll still have the upper hand and just take her down easily next week, which I can't wait to see. Other than that, that's everything. So we hope you enjoy this weekend. Care about Rhymestyle. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.